everyone, and welcome to episode 16 of the YarnderWoman podcast. My name is Melinda. I am YarnderWoman on Ravelry and Instagram, and you can find the show notes for everything I talk about today on the blog at www.yarnderwoman.blogspot.com.au. Today is Saturday the 28th of February. Can you believe we are 2 months into the year already of 2015? Can't believe it. And I'm going to have a few special guests on with me today, so more on that later. Now, first of all, you may have noticed when the opening credits came up that I've had a little bit of a logo rework. So Damien, DKS Art and Design, has done a bit of a rework of the logo, and I've got these new business cards as well, so I'll be sending those out with future prizes, as well as having them on hand if I meet people that want to hear about the podcast. Or there's a very cool coffee shop I go to in Perth called Carpe Coffee. And James, who's the owner, is very cool. He's got video games and a lot of pop culture things up and about, as well as awesome coffee. So if you're in Perth, check it out if you can. But yeah, he said I can put some up there as well. So more on that later. Now, it may be the first time this is, well, I know it is the first time this has ever happened on one of my podcasts. Are you ready for this shock? I'm not wearing a brooch. But there's a reason for that, because one of my special guests is going to be broaching the subject herself. I am wearing this very cute little necklace though. It's like a barrel of monkeys monkey. I got this many, many years ago, so I don't know where I got it or what brand it is, but I bought it as well as it being just kind of cute because of Damien's aforementioned nickname of being Monkey. So that's the answer to that one. But now let's go and see who is broaching the subject today. Hello, and here I am with a special visitor. What's your name?
Emma.
Emma, and Emma is wearing a brooch for us today, so she is going to broach the subject. So do you want to wriggle up and go closer to the camera? So we've got a little girl, she's walking a dog, and there's even a leash. And you chose that one, didn't you, yourself? Yeah. And Emma has got some knitting to show you today. We can show you her knitting in just a moment, but first it's some knitting that she got. What's this?
A scarf.
A scarf, and what's it? What's the special pattern we used? What book is it like?
From the Swiss cheese scarf.
That's right, Annie's Swiss cheese scarf. Do you want to put it on? No, we were wearing it earlier, but it's not really good for Perth summer, is it? And then we've got something, who's this for?
Baby Ariel.
Baby Ariel. And we've even got this extra little piece. So this, you may be able to recognise the pattern, is from the Lahua Scarfette pattern. And I was making one using this same yarn, but as I mentioned in last week's episode, this yarn isn't hugely soft, so I'm not going to make a Lahua. So I've kept this one piece that I've done, and that's also going to another of Emma's dollies, isn't it? And what have we got here?
My mummy's socks.
That's right, we're going to give these to Emma's mummy, my sister-in-law. These are, you've seen them before, but they're white birch fibre arts in the colourway Purple Haze with a fish lips kiss heel. Do you think mummy's going to like them? You tried them on, didn't you? And did they fit? No, they were too long. And, oh yes, don't lose that. And what's in this bag?
My yarn.
Your yarn, and what are we going to do with that yarn?
Make a cardigan.
That's right. So I'm going to use the kitty vertebrae pattern to make Emma a cardigan. So we've measured her up today, and we got out all the softest yarn that I could think of that I thought she might like, and this is what she chose. So the Felici Knit Picks Felici in the sorbet colourway, and Emma also likes to choose project bags, and this is the one she chose. This is from Little Skein in the Big Wool with the macarons, and so that will be starting soon when I get some needles. Now, do you want to get your knitting to show?
Okay.
Okay, and here's Emma's knitting. So this is the project bag she chose for her knitting. It's from a homespun house. There's the tag with the beautiful teacups fabric, and I don't think Molly is making these teacup bags anymore, so I'm very happy to have it, and so are you, aren't you? Because it was your favourite one. So let's have a look at your knitting. Ready? Hold it up. Ta-da! There we go. And where's the ball? That's there. So you've got quite a bit to use. Do you think you use it all?
I don't know.
Don't know. And what are you making for your knitting?
A blanket.
A blanket. Is it a blanket for you?
No,
Who's it for?
my dolly.
Dollies.
All of
All of your dollies.
it.
You're gonna
Needs to be a big
big blanket. That will need to be big, because how many dollies do you think you've got?
Maybe 10.
10. Wow. Cool. Well, thank you for coming to see us, Emma. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So it's my gorgeous little niece, Emma, broaching the subject today like a big girl. Problem is, here's the brooch. Now in 2 pieces. So I'll give you a close-up of it. This is the girl holding the leash, and here's the little doggy. So after we recorded, because she was over here last weekend, she then wanted to watch some YouTube videos of Frozen songs, so I just let her play with it. And she had this, and she was, you know, playing along and whatever. And then she just gave it back to me and said, "It came apart by accident." Okay. I can't give you any details on where this one's from. I think it was made very well. I think it just had a little bit too much love and excitement applied to the leash. One thing I did always wish the leash was a little bit shorter, because there's quite a lot of rope there. But anyway, I won't be wearing this for a while anymore, because it actually broke, not just slipped out. So we shall see. But hey, that's another good excuse to buy another brooch. I do not have a lot of finished objects today, but I have a lot of works in progress, so I have been doing some knitting. But anyway, we'll get to that in the relevant section. So my first finished object is this face washer. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what the pattern was called, but it was a free one on Ravelry, and obviously all the notes will be. But it's basically, you know, knit 2 yarn over at the beginning of each row to get that nice sort of edge. This is knit with Knit Picks Dishy, and I believe I used a 4.5mm needle. So very nice and squishy. I do want to make some of these for myself, but this one is for the charity knit along that I mentioned in the last episode that Pink Hair Girl Knits is running through her group. Because Sally Jane's daughter Rachel, who's Rachel Swims on Ravelry, who recently joined our group, hi Rachel, she is a wonderful young lady of, I believe, 10 years old. Apologies, Rachel, if I got that wrong. But she's organising a big charity gathering of products for the burns unit at one of the South African children's hospitals. And as part of that, they're going to be making up some toiletry packs with face washes for the mothers who stay in the hospital with the children who've suffered often horrific injuries. So wonderful, wonderful cause. I know Mel, who's Ski Knits, she also ran a face washer knit along or gathering last year, I think, and they were to be sent to Haiti, and a similar thing, they were sending toiletry packs and face washers, but that was a very short time frame, so I wasn't able to participate in that one because I think she needed them within the week, and even barring knitting time, just the international postage would have been, wouldn't have got there in time. So for this one, Sally Jane wants all of them posted by the end of March, so that there's enough time to get to South Africa from wherever they're coming from. So a very, very good cause, great opportunity just to make really quick and easy projects, and yeah, get on board. My other finished object is not a whole finished object, it's a hoe. So I have one sock. This is the Creme Hearts pattern that I'm knitting as part of the 15 in 15 Ravelry group, where we're going to make 15 socks in 2015, and this was the Valentine's knit along. So you can see there's like a heart that you make with stitches, and that goes all the way around. Now these are for Mum. You can see I'm kind of jumping into works in progress here, but the reason it's good that I'm showing you this now is because my mum and my auntie are on their way over, and they're probably going to be in some of the podcasts, or at least Mum. I'm not sure if my auntie will. But these socks are going to be for Mum, so it's good that they're running a little bit late so I can start this before they get here. Now the thing is, they're for Mum. Mum and I have very similar shoe sizes, but she's got like maybe half a size bigger than me. So when I was knitting these, I kept trying them on myself to check the length, and I thought, oh cool, that's long enough. But now that I finished the toe on one of them, I put it on and it's pretty much the perfect size for me. So I don't know what happened or what's going on. So I'm going to have to sort of trick Mum and say, ask her to try it on and say they're for someone else I know that has the same shoe size or something. I think I don't know if she'll guess, it's hard to tell. But they're for Mother's Day, so it's a few months till she'll get them. But so this one is all ready to go for the toe. So I was actually hoping to have them both done because I did this toe a couple of days ago now. But I thought there's no point doing the same if I'm going to have to rip it out. So hopefully we'll see how we go. I mean, if I have to rip it out, I have to rip it out because I want it to fit. So I'm just looking for the tag, but I don't seem to have it. But this is Cyborg's Craft Room yarn in the Sparkleate base. So it's got the stellina, as you can see in there. Pretty, pretty. Broken Mirrors, Broken Minds colorway, and it's just gorgeous. Just that beautiful variegation, the sort of berry shades, and you can see these blue parts. It was really fun when they would come up in the knitting because they're just so blue against the other colors. It was really pretty. So yes, very fun pattern. The pattern actually, you know, had a longer leg and I think it had a diamond shape, but I decided just to do the hearts, and then also decided to make them ankle socks because they'd be cute because they're just kind of the right length, that they're not, you know, right at the shoe level. You get the little heart part, so I thought that'd be quite a cute length. And I did Fish Lips Kiss Heel, that, and just my own toe, which I usually do decrease every second round till I get to 18 stitches, and then decrease every round till I get to 8 stitches, and then I do a Kitchener for the toe. So I do that for all of them, but clearly I needed to, well, probably knit a little bit more on the foot. So we shall see how we go. So they will definitely be finished next time. And now that I've shown you part of that work in progress, let's get on to the rest of them. So continuing on from my sock work in progress, I'll show you the bag that they're in. This one is from Little Bobbins on Etsy, and of course Little Bobbins is Danny of the Little Bobbins Knits podcast. Beautiful red spots, the knitting fabric at the top, gorgeous. I've had a lot of sock knitting, I've had those ones going, and then I've also started some which I've got in these bags. So these are from Villains on Etsy. So you've got yarn bath, wonderful kind of bath if you ask me, and sheet popping. Hang on, I'll open it up. So that's cool because I did my concurrent socks, I've had one in each. Now this yarn was sent to me by Turtle Pearl Yarns to do a review, which I was very, very happy to do. And I'm loving this yarn. It's really nice. It's almost got like a velveteen sort of feel to it. It's, when I started knitting with it, because I was, you know, you always notice what your yarn is like, but I was also trying to be really conscious about it because I was doing a review of it. It's more towards the soft side, but it's not as soft as something like Skein Top Drawer, which feels like cashmere, even though it's a merino nylon. So this is a 75-25 merino nylon. Here's the tag. And this is the colorway Gothic Plum, which is awesome. And it's so cool the way it stripes up. So the black is thicker than the plum, and then you've got the silver part in between that's the same. So you can see it there in the ribbing. And then the pattern I'm using for these is the one by Emily O'Grady, who's Ooh Fancy Pants. Vanilla Bean Stripy Socks. It's a free pattern, and it's one where you slip the stitches whenever you have a colour change. And I think it looks really cool with this thin stripe. It reminds me a little bit of the shape of barbed wire, so it sort of reminds me of Amnesty International. I'm sure you're familiar with that organisation, because their symbol is a candle with barbed wire around it. So yeah, I like that, because I'm, without getting political, very obviously, I say obviously, I think you'd know that about me, very much into equal rights for everyone and human rights and just trying to make the world a better place. And when I was in high school, we had an Amnesty International group where you could write letters It was very much the old-fashioned way. I think a lot of it's done online these days. I'm sure, I know a lot of people do still write paper letters. But we would meet once a week at school to write letters about various prisons of conscience. And I actually wrote the most letters of anyone in Year 12, so I got an amnesty mug. So there's my story. So yes, the tangent of that was because of the cool stitches on there. So I'm really loving the yarn though. I will do a proper, more in-depth review when I've finished knitting them and washed them, etc. But these are the two. I'm sort of, pretty much almost equal. I've been knitting these on my commute and a little bit in the evenings. If you followed me on Instagram, you'll see I went to a Mogwai concert earlier in the week, Mogwai the band, and I was sitting in a garden area outside the stage area, so I was actually able to knit on these. So I think this one, I'm looking at which project bag it's in, this one was knit with Mogwai music playing, so there you go. So yeah, loving the yarn, really, really good. As I said, I'll continue to do a full review, and I'm wondering if I can just lean over a minute. Because we also have the same colourway and yarn that one of you lucky people will be winning. This competition will be running, I think, towards the end of March. I'll check the dates that I organised with the lovely Turtle Pal people. So we'll be having a competition, and then there'll also be a discount code, so that if you're not the lucky winner, you'll have an opportunity to buy some of your own at a discount. So yes, works in progress number 1. My next work in progress is in this beautiful bag from Little Skein and the Big Wool. Very, very gorgeous Little Red Riding Hood. I love Little Red Riding Hood. Must be the red, I think. You think? Very cute red gingham inside. And this is the bag I ended up choosing for a project I showed you last week, which is the Knit Night shawl that I'm making for my cousin. Now last week, remember I told her to look away and that, tell her when to look back. Yeah, she just looked, so I'm just going to show you. So this yarn is the single merino from Jinx Yarns on Etsy in the Axle colourway, red and black. And I haven't really done much more on this, so it's not too different from last time, but there we go, I'll hold it up on the red. So loving it, loving how the colours are coming out, just the way the different variegations shine. And it's funny how things come out, like here, it's totally black and there's a little bit of red on top, and very fun. I actually got some new needles for these. These are the Addy Lace in the 4mm, because I use the Addy Lace, or see, it's Sock Rockets, but I believe that name is copyrighted just for the United States or North America. So those are the 2.5. So it's funny because I'm so used to seeing them at that size. When I have them at this, they just look really bizarre, like, as in, you're just not used to seeing them. But yes, loving that, because they're really zippy and smooth. It's been good to have to jet along with those. So yeah, that will definitely be finished by next week. That's my goal, is to finish those. And my last active work in progress is living in my bag from the Silver Shed USA. Very cool. And this is another face washer for the Pink Hair Girl Knits charity knit along. So I'm about halfway. I think I've done maybe 2 decreases to start coming back at the top. This I've got, I won't get the balls out because it's a bit tricky, but you see I'm holding 3 strands together, and I have 2 in the Modavira Somber and 1 in Egypto Cotton. So it's the green is the Egypto Cotton and the cream is those. And I'm really liking how it's turning out. Very pretty, the variegation with the pretty green and the white or cream. And I do of course have my Brachiosaurus in progress. Remember last week I couldn't show you because it was still looking a little bit interesting. I haven't really worked much more on him because I've been focusing on the socks and the face washes, so more on him later. So there's no progress shot on him and I'm not going to show you. And here we have our special guest number 2, because we already had Emma on earlier. Kathy's back.
Hello everybody.
And we also have a live studio audience at the moment. My Auntie Fran is sitting just over here, and we might get her on later, so we'll see. First of all, for acquisitions, we've got something that Mum has received. Beautiful, beautiful Lehua scarfette that was knitted by our very own group member Julia, 9crafty11. And she actually sent it a couple of weeks ago and I haven't been able to pass it on to Mum yet, and I wanted to be able to have her see it on the podcast. So Mum, would you like to discuss it?
I think it's absolutely beautiful and it's all within my special colours and I love it. And thank you so much to the lady who made it.
And we'll come and talk a bit more about Lehua scarfettes shortly because we've of course got our knit along going. But first on to acquisitions. So first up, something for the podcast. Janelle of Query Fibre Arts has very generously donated some beautiful yarns to us. I've left it in the bag because it's got a pretty little ribbon on it, so I don't want to take it out for someone. But if I can show the label, there we go. So this is Query Worsted in the Time Vortex colourway. And this one I especially like, and I actually said to Damien, maybe I could tell Janelle it never arrived and that she should just never look at any of my projects ever again to see it. But no, I'm going to be nice and give it to all of you. And then we've also got, this is the Gradient Sock in the Sunrise colourway. And that's a beautiful one that starts dark and then goes out to the sunrise. So very appropriately named. So these will be some future giveaway prizes that we'll have for other giveaways shortly. My next lot of acquisitions is Atelia Yarns flavoured. So Meg is a dyer in Sydney, Australia, the other side of Australia from where I am, and she has Atelia Yarns. And she recently on her Instagram feed was knitting up a pair of socks in a gorgeous colourway that was grey with some like red lines through it. And it turned out the colourway name is Cylon, which for those who've seen Battlestar Galactica will know Cylon is the robots. And this looked very much inspired by the Gundam. Mum's laughing about what on earth we're talking about. But,
I know.
Yeah. Well, Mum should remember the conversation because she kindly offered to buy me some yarn when the colourway was released on Valentine's Day. And it just arrived the other day. So that's the tag. And that's the colourway. So I've got two different bases. One is 75-25 merino nylon and one is 80-20. And the 80-20 is a 2-ply, which is that one there, that I'll probably be using for a shawl. Haven't decided yet, but then I did decide what I was going to use it for because Meg had a new pattern coming out. I believe it might even be today. And I said, would that one suit the Cylon colourway? And she's very generously gifted me one of her other patterns, which is called the Big Blue. So she sent me this pattern and she said that would look awesome with the Cylon colourway. So thank you so much, Meg. That's going to be one of my future projects. And then further thanks to Meg, she also sent me this beautiful yarn as a present along with my order. And try and get the shine off. It's beautiful red and purple. It's called Mars and Jupiter. And it's gorgeous. So thank you so much, Meg. I love it. All my colours together. My next acquisition was a prize win, which is very exciting. This is a cute little sheep on the tag. This is from Great Bay Woolworks in America. And this was a prize that I won from the NH Knits podcast. Thank you, Claire. It's beautiful. And it's a natural wool. I'll read the text. 100% local wool, natural colours, no dyes used in New Hampshire in America. So this yarn, I believe, was travelled across a couple of states for someone in the NH Knits podcast group to get it to Claire. And then Claire sent it to me for a prize. So it's very much a community yarn and it's all the local natural. It's very rustic and sheepy. I feel it.
Oh, gorgeous.
Yeah. So I haven't decided what I'm going to make with it yet, but it's very cool. I think this is my first sort of natural yarn in terms of not dyed, so very cool. You can get the sheep. Oh.
So it's not dyed?
No, so that's the natural sheep colour.
Really? I've never seen grey sheep before.
I'm not sure what kind of sheep it is, because that doesn't look like a merino.
No.
So, something. Mum has a poster of sheep, actually, don't you, at home?
I do.
But it's mostly British breed, so I'm not sure if this one would be on it, but I will find out. There's a website here, greatbaywoolworks.com, so I'll, of course, link that in the show notes, but we'll check it out, and then we'll go from there. So, yes, thank you very much, Claire. And my last acquisition is something I got from someone in Perth. That's Anna, who's Analog on Ravelry, and we met up because Anna won, now what prize was it? I think it was for the New Year goals giveaway, and it was a prize of the Cyborgs Craft Room yarn. So we met up last week, being both from Perth, and while we were there, she gave me some yarn for my sock yarn blanket. So these ones are both skein yarn bases. I believe that's a sport and that's a fingering, but Anna has actually dyed them herself. So she bought the bare yarn and dyed them through. So thank you, Anna, very much. And I haven't done any work on my Cozy Memories blanket this week or this fortnight, but I'll be adding these in soon. Spinning you right round, so lots of podcasts as always. So the lovely Lotta has And Just Another Podcast. She has a new episode out after she was doing some travelling in Australia, but unfortunately not in Perth. But that's a really great episode to look out for. The lovely little Bobbins, Danny, that we mentioned earlier with her bag. She's got some lovely episodes, and thank you, Danny, for your lovely comments recently about me and my podcast. Same to Kristen of Yarngasm. Great comments of you. And yes, I'm from Australia, not New Zealand. Well done. And thank you, Molly, for your lovely comments recently as well. I'm so glad you loved your parcel for your little bubby. And I've also recently started reading more regularly the Hungriest Knitter blog, which accompanies the wonderful Rachel's podcast. So her blog often has links to lots of recipes, lots of great patterns. So it's a great place to stop off in between episodes from the Hungriest Knitter. So having our own live studio audience today is actually quite reminiscent for Mum and I, because we were a live studio audience last weekend for filming of an episode of the Australian TV show called The Book Club. So that's a panel style TV show where the group discuss various books, as you would if you're attending a book club. And they don't usually film in Perth, but they were here as part of the Perth Writers Festival, and Mum and I were lucky enough to get tickets, and we ended up in the front row, so it's very exciting. And I'll put a link to the show just for your interest, but one of the presenters, whose name's Marique, she dresses quite unusually, so I've always liked her outfits, and she was wearing red stockings on that night, so it was even a bigger thrill for me. And it also gave me some great ideas, because I'm in an actual in real life book club, and I think it'll be my turn to choose a book in a couple of months' time, so it's going to give me a good spot. As long as I can get things on audiobook, because I do prefer audiobooks these days, because that way I can still knit while I'm listening. At my work, I am the coordinator for the corporate blood drive, so I organise getting staff to go down to the blood bank to donate, and they have little competitions so that you can, win best donor awards. Obviously the real winners are the people who receive the donations, but every year they have a breakfast to launch the new corporate year, and I went along to that recently, and they've changed the branding, so they're Red 25 now. It's to get 25% of donations through corporate means. But I was wearing a red dress and red lipstick to try and, match the theme. And as I was walking to the bus stop, a man was walking along and he started going, "Is it Christmas?" So, hilarious. I should have said, no, I dress like an elf every day, but, I didn't think of that till later. But anyway, my point in mentioning that, without, as I said, trying to get overly political, is if you are able to donate blood, it really is a very important thing that is easy to do, in that it doesn't cost you any money, and it's a great way of being able to contribute to help people, like literally save lives. Every blood donation saves up to 3 lives. So I really recommend it. I unfortunately can't donate blood anymore because of one of my medications that I'm on for my arthritis. So that's very disappointing for me. So I'm really pushing extra hard to try and get other people to donate if they're able to. So get out there and support that very important drive if you can. I know not everyone can. As you saw earlier, I gave my niece a scarf that was based on the one from Annie and the Swiss Cheese Scarf book, which of course has the little bit at the end about teaching children to knit. Now I have someone who's contacted me on Instagram who lives in America, who is not in any way involved in the knitting community, who wants to teach his daughter to knit but isn't sure where to start. Does anyone have any recommendations of good YouTube videos or blogs that are very good for teaching children to knit? Because I thought I can look for them, but it'd be really great if anyone has any recommendations of ones that they know have worked or that they think are looking good. And that would be great if you could leave those in a comment on the Ravelry thread for this episode. That would be very helpful indeed. Thank you. Damien, who is the wonderful DKS Art and Design, also does some fantastic original music. So he's just released his latest album, and it is available for either purchase or free on a website called Bandcamp, so I'll put the link to that in the show notes. So the album is experimental, instrumental soundscapes is how he's describing them. So some are very mellow, some are a bit more rocky, fast-paced, but they're very, very good. And I say that even without my personal bias, I genuinely think the music is fantastic, really, really lovely. So on the website you go through, you have to nominate a fee for what you're going to pay, because it's pay what you want. You can put 0 if you want the album for free, that's fine, but you do have to put a number in. It won't let you progress otherwise. But if you do want to contribute anything at all that you think you'd like to, that's fine. But he just wants people to enjoy his music and get it out there, so that's why he's offering it for free if people wanted to. So get out there and download it. I highly, highly recommend it. You know how good his artwork is, and his music is of a similar level. And the last thing that's spinning me right round is literally spinning my washing around. My new washing machine arrived. So that was my very romantic present from Damien for Valentine's Day. But it is romantic in that I need a washing machine. It's very cool. But enough about my dirty laundry. Mum, what's spinning you right around?
At the moment, my garden's looking very pretty. It's got lots of flowers in it. And luckily they haven't been burnt by the hot sun. We've had a lot of heat over the summer. And I planted a beautiful tree recently, and it's in flower. So hopefully, if I trim it back, it'll get lots and lots of flowers and look very pretty.
What kind of tree is it?
You're going to ask. Hibiscus. Hibiscus, like high biscuit.
With an S.
That's a good way of remembering it.
And you've got frangipanis at the moment?
I have. Beautiful.
I love frangipanis.
These are all the summer flowering plants.
Not to rub it in that we've got warm weather for those poor people experiencing mountains of snow, but we've got warm weather.
Yes.
Not that I like the heat, so don't get me wrong, I don't want the extreme heat, but it is nice to bring out the flowers.
It is, and but it is hard to keep them alive when it's very, very hot. So, but the garden's looking lovely, and I'm looking forward to the cooler weather.
And we've got sprinkler bans here over the summer, and a lot of other places probably do as well, but especially here in Perth. So you have to do all the hand watering, do you?
I do. That's my first job for the morning. Get up and water the garden.
At about 5 a.m. or something.
Yes.
Yeah. Mum just wakes up at 5.
Because that's when the light comes. And it just streams through my window. Even though I've got a nice big blind, it comes right through. And I wake up and right, time to water the garden. So out I go. And of course that's a beautiful time in the garden because it's so fresh. There's lots of birds out looking for their breakfast, and I have lots of birds in my garden too. So it's all lovely, and I'm very happy to be able to do this.
So we won't probably do a garden tour now in the summer because it's... Well, I suppose we could look at the flowers and things. We could do a limited tour perhaps.
We could.
And then I was thinking once it gets to autumn, that'll be gorgeous with all the turning colours and everything. So more on Mum's garden on future episodes.
Something to look forward to.
We've got lots of prizes today. Yay! I say today, but today being the 28th, the prizes are actually open until the midnight tonight, Perth time. So what we'll do is we're going to film the prize winnings today, and then I'll edit in the names of the winners for when I upload. So first off, we had our 1,000 member giveaway. Welcome everyone. We're actually, I think we're maybe 1,040 now, I'm not sure, so we'll see how we go, but welcome everyone. It's not numbers, but it is cool to have everyone here. So our prizes for that one, we had this gorgeous yarn from Fab Funky Fibres, generously donated, and also a pattern from Nancy Whitman, sorry, beg your pardon, Nancy. So the winner for those are these lucky people. Yay! And we've also got our Lehua Scarfette knit along that has finished today, or will finish today. It's finished by the time you see it. Oh, it's confusing. Anyway, this is the Lehua that I knit. That was using, I've gone blank, some lovely yarn. I'll put it in the show notes. That has silk and merino in it. And then of course Mum's modelling her lovely one that Julia made her. And we had some beautiful, beautiful entries. So thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you everyone who just cheered us on from the sidelines, even if you weren't able to knit. And I think it was really fun. So we'll definitely be having some future knit-alongs coming up. I think we're gonna have one in April, so watch this space. So we had a chatted thread and a finished objects thread, and we're gonna have some prizes for both. So first off, the winner from the chatted thread is going to get this beautiful project bag from Suburban Stitcher. So this is the top, and then it goes into the bottom. So I've left it in the wrapping, the beautiful butterflies, as well as a little key ring from No Makers and a little tattoo from No Makers. So the winner from the chatter thread is and we've got 3 prizes for the finished objects thread. So first off is this gorgeous yarn from White Birch Fibre Arts, as well as a keychain from No Makers and the little tattoo. And this is Nothing Says Screw You Like a Rainbow in self-striping with the blue and rainbows. Do you like that colourway name?
I do.
And the winner of that one is
me.
Oh, well, unfortunately not.
No.
Sorry.
Oh.
The real winner is and we also had 2 lovely patterns donated by the wonderful Ski Knits, Mel herself, who is the designer of the Lehua Scarfette. She kindly donated us a pattern of Drizzle, her hat pattern, and Hannah Ho, one of her cardigans. And the lucky winners of those are and one more prize draw we have with an extra special guest is from Knit Circus Yarns, who very generously donated us one of the gradient sock sets in the colourway Come What May. I don't have it in the reel because they're going to send it straight to the winner. It was beautiful gradient of pink and brown going down the foot. This is me showing a foot. So the winner for that one is so congratulations, and our special guest is Sophie, the wonderful The Teen on Instagram, and she's wearing, and going to model for us, some of the very cool wristers. Can you move a bit close to the camera? So these were made with the yarn from Manic Pixie Dream, and you've also got some lovely matching socks, don't you? And she knows the joy of hand knit socks through those ones. And so these are some cool wristers. We might need to give them a wash, but it's a bit hard to get them off her because she likes them so much. But she has also asked for a pair of wristers similarly in the Gothic Plum colourway. So once I finish the socks for those that I showed you earlier in Works in Progress, you'll see some more wristers in those. And that's all we have for today, except we have our extra lovely guest. This is my lovely Auntie Fran. Thank you for joining us.
Hello everyone. Auntie Fran is my sister.
Yes, and they may look like twins, but they're actually about a year apart, so close. But I remember both Mum and Auntie Fran across the course of their lives. I've always heard stories where people will come up to them at the shops and be saying, hello, blah, 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 and they've got no idea who this person is, and then they'll walk away saying goodbye, opposite name. So lots of people confuse them, so yes, but I never have. But thank you very much for joining us today, everyone. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll try and get Auntie Fran on again another time, because you do a lot of craft as well, don't you?
I do. Well, I have done in the past, and I will do in the future when I have a little bit more time. But I love watching Melinda's YarnderWoman. I remember Melinda dressing up as Wonder Woman as a little girl, so it's just a progression.
It all comes together. thank you everyone. We will see you again in a few weeks' time. Come and join in the hellos on the Ravelry thread. Send me any messages you like. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye.
Bye.